Hey everyone, I hope y'all are doing amazing today. Now listen to this. A young star out of Manila just locked in one of the biggest, most jaw-dropping contracts the tennis world has ever seen, a $75 million agreement with Nike. And when the announcement finally hit the timeline, she didn't react the way most people would expect. Instead, she made a move that literally froze the internet in place. Nobody predicted it. And trust me, nobody is moving on from it anytime soon. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What stunned you more, the $75 million Nike deal or what Eala chose to do for her parents once everything was finalized? Let's begin with the figure itself, because that number deserves its own spotlight before we unpack the rest of this story. $75 million. That's not just a basic endorsement. That's not some casual brand collaboration. That is a statement. That is Nike, the most dominant force in global sportswear. The same empire that transformed Michael Jordan into a worldwide icon and stood beside Serena Williams throughout 2 decades of pure dominance. Sitting face to face with a young Filipina tennis player and essentially saying, "We believe in you enough to invest $75 million behind your future." Just let that sink in for a moment. Because when you look at the world of women's tennis endorsements, that kind of money places Alex in an elite tier reserved for only a few names in the sport's entire history. Naomi Osaka, Maria Sharapova, Serena Williams, the women who defined commercial power in this game for years, and, reportedly, Eala.
For a player who is still working her way up the WTA ladder, still battling through qualifiers and tough draws, still stacking her resume 1 point and 1 tournament at a time, a reported deal of this size isn't just impressive, it's flat out extraordinary. And listen to this. The reason it even exists tells you exactly how the sports business world sees what's about to happen next in her career. Nike does not drop $75 million on what an athlete has already accomplished. Nike invests in who they believe the athlete is about to become. That's their blueprint, and they've nailed it enough times for that blueprint to demand serious respect. When they took a chance on a college basketball kid named Michael Jordan before he had won a single NBA game, they weren't paying for stats, they were investing in a vision of the future. The same principle applies right here. They're not staring at Eala's current ranking and randomly cutting a check. They're studying her trajectory, her crossover appeal, her narrative, her cultural pull, and the market they believe she's about to unlock. And they are betting big on every piece of that puzzle. Marketing insiders have already started labeling it the Eala effect. And once you really understand her journey, you understand why that phrase even exists. She checks every box a global powerhouse brand could dream of in a representative. The talent speaks for itself. She tore through the junior circuit in a way that had scouts buzzing long before she fully stepped onto the professional stage. The backstory is powerful. A young girl from the Philippines is leaving home early to train at the Rafael Nadal Academy in Mallorca, Spain, one of the most elite tennis training grounds anywhere in the world. In a place far removed from everything familiar, chasing a vision most people around her couldn't even fully see yet. The cultural impact is enormous. The Philippines is home to more than 110 million people, plus millions more across the diaspora, living in North America, Europe, the Middle East, and across Asia. And they've been following Eala's rise with the kind of pride that only kicks in when someone who looks like you and comes from where you come from steps onto the global stage. When she competes, it's not just another match on the schedule, it turns into a national moment. Families gather, timelines explode, people who have never watched a single WTA rally suddenly tune in because one of their own is out there fighting. That level of cultural gravity can't be bought or engineered by any marketing team on Earth. It has to be built organically, and Eala built it through years of sacrifice and performance. Nike clearly sees that. $75 million worth of belief sees that. But hold up, as mind-blowing as that contract figure is, it's honestly not even the most powerful part of this entire story. Not even close. Because the second that contract was finalized, the ink dried and the swoosh became official? Hold up, Eala didn't make it about herself. Her very first thought wasn't champagne or headlines. She thought about her parents. She bought them a house. Not something small, not a flashy car, not a quick luxury trip. A house. And by every description, a true dream home. Wide open spaces, carefully designed details, greenery everywhere, sunlight pouring through every window, and enough room for those loud, love-filled Filipino family gatherings everybody talks about. A haven. A place where the two people who sacrificed everything for her dream could finally stop budgeting every breath and just breathe.
The message she posted online looked simple, but listen to this. It emotionally wrecked people across every platform. Mom and Dad gave up so much so I could chase this dream. Now it's your turn to have the home and the life you deserve. No more worries, only peace and pride. I love you forever. Those 3 words in that caption carried more impact than the entire $75 million headline. No more worries. Anyone who has seen their parents stay up late stressing about bills quietly carries burdens they never spoke about. Those 3 words hit like a freight train, because that wasn't just a social media caption. It was a promise delivered. It was a daughter telling her parents the battle is finished. The struggle chapter is closed, and from this point forward, they get to exhale. The internet absolutely lost it. Comment sections are flooded with people who don't follow tennis, who aren't from the Philippines, who don't track the WTA, but who absolutely understand parental sacrifice, and they saw their own lives reflected in Eala's words. That's bigger than sports. That's the kind of moment that reminds people why athletes matter beyond trophies. To really grasp why buying that house carries this much emotion, you have to rewind all the way, not to her first pro match, but to the true beginning. The chapter that started with a 4-year-old girl and a grandfather who recognized greatness before the world did. Roberto Bobby Eala, her late grandfather, placed the tennis racket in her hands when she was just 4 years old. 4 years old, and he spotted the spark before anyone else could see the flame. He isn't here to watch this milestone, but the line connecting that moment to her granddaughter signing a $75 million deal with Nike has never been broken. Everything that followed can be traced back to that first swing. Every time Alex walks onto a court, she carries his belief with her. Every victory she earns echoes his early faith. That's not poetry. That's how legacy works. Then you look at her parents, Mike Eala and Roselle Eala. They're not the headline-chasing sports parents. They're not loud. They're not the ones pounding the glass in the player's box or chasing cameras. They're the steady ones, grinding behind the scenes without asking for applause. And her mother especially understands the cost of this path because she walked a version of it herself. A former bronze medalist swimmer at the Southeast Asian Games, she knows exactly what elite-level sacrifice demands. The early alarms, the missed birthdays, the physical grind, and the mental pressure of giving everything to a sport with zero guarantees. When Alex's potential became undeniable, Mike and Roselle made a united decision. They were all in. And tennis, let's be honest, is one of the most unforgivingly expensive sports on the planet. Coaching bills, court rentals, rackets, restringing fees, tournament entry costs, travel, and not just quick trips nearby. International flights, bouncing from Europe to Asia to wherever the junior circuit stopped that month, plus hotels, food, gear, all of it stacking up faster than most households can even comprehend. The Eala family calculated every single peso. They accepted sacrifices most families wouldn't even dare to entertain, and they did it without noise, without complaints, because their faith in their daughter never wavered. Then came the hardest decision of all. When the chance opened for Alex to train at the Rafael Nadal Academy in Mallorca, Spain, Mike and Roselle faced every parent's nightmare. They had to let her leave. Not just a short drive away, not a neighboring city. They watched their teenage daughter get on a plane to the other side of the world alone in a foreign country, chasing a dream with zero guarantees. They witnessed her growth through FaceTime screens and grainy ITF live streams from tiny European venues where the Wi-Fi barely cooperated. They missed the small daily moments, the teenage milestones, the quiet wins, and the tough nights when a hug would have meant everything. They stayed strong because she needed that strength, and their belief never cracked. Eala understands that price better than anyone. She remembers the nights her father sat at the table recalculating finances again and again, trying to stretch the budget. She knows how much courage it took for her mother to hide fear behind a steady smile.
She remembers every emotional airport goodbye. So when the contract became official, that house wasn't about luxury. It was about acknowledgement. It was her saying, "I see every sacrifice. I know what it cost you, and now I give back." The property reportedly includes room for extended family, gardens for peaceful mornings, and space for the kind of celebrations Filipino families turn into unforgettable events. It's a place where her mother can finally rest without worry, where her father can sip his coffee in silence, and where the presence of Roberto "Bobby" Eala lives on in every corner. Now hold up, let's shift back to the tennis side, because the emotional story runs parallel to what's happening in her actual career, and that piece matters just as much. The timing of this agreement is no coincidence. Eala has been grinding at the professional level, sharpening her game and building a reputation backed by results. She earned PSA Athlete of the Year honors, recognition that highlights her influence beyond just tennis. She developed during her formative years at the Rafael Nadal Academy. While others her age were living typical teenage routines, she came out tougher, more disciplined, and more prepared for the unforgiving pro circuit than most of her peers. This deal isn't charity. Nike doesn't hand out $75 million out of kindness. They invested because her performance validated it, her narrative supported it, and the market was ready for it. The Asian tennis landscape has been waiting for its next defining superstar. Naomi Osaka carried that momentum and broke barriers, but the region is massive. The hunger for a unifying figure is real, and the opportunity for Nike to align with the right athlete at precisely the right time is something they clearly identified with Eala. 110 million Filipinos at home, plus a global diaspora spread across continents, creates a commercial equation where $75 million starts to look strategic. The rumors about what's next are already circulating. A signature shoe, fashion partnerships, Philippine cultural elements woven into Nike designs, global campaigns stretching from Manila to Tokyo to New York. The potential is tangible, and it's thrilling. And it all traces back to a 4-year-old girl who picked up a racket because her grandfather believed in her. Somewhere in the Philippines right now, there's a young girl without elite facilities. She's got a second-hand racket and a concrete wall, and she just watched Alex Eala secure a $75 million deal and buy her parents a home. And suddenly she understands something she didn't fully grasp yesterday, that her passport doesn't limit her future, that her voice and story can travel, and that sacrifice can pay off. That's the Eala effect. And trust me, it's only the beginning. $75 million, a dream house for her parents, and a story the entire sports world can't stop discussing. Alex Eala isn't simply building a tennis resume, she's building a legacy. Drop your thoughts below. Thanks for reading.